Let's assume that you can invest $100,000 into your 401k or IRA today, and we're going to compare that with a traditional or a Roth, and we're not going to assume that you put any more money into these retirement accounts. So if you take this $100,000 and you're going to put it into your traditional account, what that means is this is money you're going to put in tax-free. That means all $100,000 get to go into this traditional IRA 401k, and let's assume that you're going to keep it in here for 30 years, and for each year you get an average 10% growth, which means that after 30 years, you didn't put in any more money, this is going to grow to 1.7 million, and now you got to pay taxes. How much taxes? Well, again, this is a question mark based off of what we just discussed, which is what is your income going to look like in the future and what are tax rates going to look like in the future. So what you're actually left with is 1.7 million minus taxes, so you have a question mark as to what you're left with. Now, if we take the same situation, but instead of a traditional, we're going to use a Roth. What happens now, you take the same $100,000 that you're going to put in a Roth, but before it goes into the Roth, what happens? You got to pay your taxes. So let's assume now that you're paying 30% in taxes, which means $70,000 actually makes it into your Roth account because you got to pay taxes first. Now what happens is your money stays here. It gets to be invested tax-free. So let's assume the same thing. 30 years in your Roth 401k IRA growing at 10% a year. Now when it comes time for you to retire, you have $1.2 million here. Obviously you have less money here than here. The reason why is because you have less money that goes in. The reason why you have less money that goes in is because you already paid taxes on the money that you earned. Here you have not paid taxes on the money that you've earned. So now how much money do you get to pull out from your Roth 401k or IRA? You get to pull out $1.2 million because you've already paid taxes. Doesn't matter if you're making $10 million a year. When it comes time for you to retire, you've already paid taxes on this income. It doesn't matter if tax rates are 90%. You've already paid taxes on this income. So this $1.2 million is yours. This is what you get to keep. Here, you got $1.7 million and you don't know how much you're going to get to keep. Maybe you get to keep 1.5 million, maybe you get to keep 0.9 million, $900,000. It depends on what the taxes are and what your tax bracket is going to look like. And that's where you have to go back to what I was just talking about and dive deep into those two questions. Do you plan on increasing your income as you get older? Or do you plan on decreasing your income? And what do you think is going to happen to tax rates? Now, there's one more thing that I want to mention, which I wouldn't feel right making this video without mentioning it, which is you don't have to just have a retirement account to invest your money. Most Americans, unfortunately, don't have any sort of investments. Then out of the people that do have an investment, most of those people only have a retirement account. They have a 401k or an IRA. Most Americans who are investing their money don't have any sort of self-investments. They don't have any stocks that they're investing in themselves. They don't have any real estate that they're investing in themselves. And this is where what I want you to do is think a little bit bigger and don't just rely on these retirement accounts to fund your retirement. The reason why is because back a few decades ago, retirement was called a three-legged stool. You'd have your Social Security, you'd have your pension, and then you'd have your own savings. The problem with that today is pensions are a thing in the past, Social Security is being depleted, and most people have no savings. So now, if we fast forward to what's going on today, if you're under the age of 45, your Social Security check is probably not going to be that much. Okay, I hate to be the person that breaks the bad news to you, but your Social Security check is not going to fund any sort of glorious retirement for you. You're not going to get a pension, which leaves primarily your own investments and your own savings. Now, your 401k, your IRA, this can be a great tool to start with, but this should not be your only investments. I want you to also think about creating your own investments and continue investing to continue padding your wealth outside of just these accounts right here. Now, I know that can be daunting. It can be scary. Oh my God, what brokerage do I use? How do I get started? Where do I invest my money? Where do I put my money? What if the markets go down? I get it. But you don't got to go 0 to 100 today. Take one baby small step at a time. You can look at some of the different brokerages out there. You can look at some of the different ways to invest your money. You can look at investing your money in index funds. You can look at investing your money in ETFs. You can look at investing your money in mutual funds. You can look at investing your money into individual companies. You can look at investing in real estate. There's a lot of things to do. YouTube is a great place to start because it's not going to cost you any money. Then you can read some books and then you can keep dabbling in a little bit. Start with $100, start with $500, start with something that you're comfortable losing. That way you can just start getting your feet wet and then you start putting a little bit more money in. Then you start putting a little bit more money in because the key is you got to keep investing your money if you want to build wealth. The reality is that's what wealthy people are doing. they're working to grow their assets. The majority of people are working to grow their liabilities. The majority of people are working to grow which cars in their driveway and which house that they're living in. But if you want to build wealth, you got to flip that around and you got to put more emphasis, more time, more energy, and more money into your investments. Now, we have a ton of resources on my channel. And for those of you that are looking for an easy way to stay on top of what's happening in the financial news, you can check out Market Briefs. It's a free newsletter that my team is creating at Briefs Media that breaks down everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. And I got the link for you down in the description below. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.